Hi everyone, my name is Chi-Chi for those who don't know, and today I'm coming to you with a quick video about common misconceptions, incorrect assumptions about the Fulbright program, but specifically as it relates to your eligibility. Just do a quick recap about my experience with the program. So I was a 2017-2018 Fulbright research grantee to Brussels, Belgium. I worked at the De Duve Institute as an independent researcher, and there I got a research certificate in medical sciences and was studying ways to prevent deaths caused by bacterial infections by studying ways that bacteria are able to develop antibiotic resistance. During my time there, I also founded the group Fulbright Noir, which is a group that highlights the experiences of Black Fulbright grantees, aims to increase representation in the Fulbright program by celebrating the accomplishments specifically of Black Fulbrighters who are underrepresented in the program, but also discussing some of the challenges that they face abroad as Black cultural ambassadors. And so I did that based off of my own experiences within the program, and really wanted to highlight, you know, the good and the bad and the real, so people can prepare to spend time abroad as a Black person, right? But that's not what this video is about, so that's just a sidebar, just a plug for a dope group. When I finished the program, I applied to be a Fulbright Alumni Ambassador, and so I want to highlight that program really quickly because I think if you're not within the Fulbright program, not a lot of people know about it. So it is a really competitive application process. Actually, the year that I applied, it was more selective than the Fulbright program itself, but ultimately I was honored and privileged to be selected as one of 20 alumni ambassadors in my cohort. And so what we do is serve as official ambassadors of the program, representatives of the Fulbright program. We go to conferences around the country, we host workshops, things of that nature to really discuss our experiences, discuss the program as a whole, really with the goal in recruiting a diverse applicant pool as well. So people from all backgrounds, with all experiences, whether that's from Ivy Leagues to community colleges, from low income, from minority groups, I mean, you name it. If the program is a good fit for you and you are a good fit for the program, then Fulbright wants you to apply. And so we serve kind of as the liaisons between, you know, the student program and the Fulbright entity as a whole. Okay, so no surprise that I'm making a video like this, right? This is kind of innately what I do anyway. I would be making this video whether I were an ambassador or not. But as an ambassador, as someone who is very vocal about my time abroad, because it was the best year of my life and had an amazing experience and I want to go back, you know, I get a lot of questions about Fulbright. And I wanted to make this video to kind of highlight the 4 major questions / misconceptions that people have about applying for a Fulbright grant. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So I went abroad and did something that was related to what my master's degree was in, my previous research experience was in. So at the time, at the start of my grant, I had 4 years plus research experience and an advanced degree in the field. That is not a requirement. You do not have to be an expert in what you propose. You don't even have to necessarily have experience in what you propose. I took the avenue that I did because I wanted to continue developing my research skills because I knew I was going to go back and start a PhD program. So I completed my master's degree. I went abroad and did Fulbright for a year, which was not affiliated or tied to any program. And then I came back to the States and started my PhD program. So I wanted to structure my gap year to kind of, you know, meet my desires and personal interests to go abroad and integrate into a new culture while also developing my skills as a scientist. So the caveat with saying that you don't need to be an expert is you need to be able to effectively communicate, aka market, why you are able to carry out the project that you propose. Long story short, you do not have to be an expert in the topic that you propose, you can still propose it and apply and get the grant. So number 2 is field of study. So I get this question all of the time. People think that Fulbright grants are limited to scientific research, or at least my colleagues. And maybe that's because they saw me go abroad and do scientific research. But that is the furthest thing from the truth. I have friends who were anthropologists and were studying certain types of Central African art in the context of colonialism. I had friends who won grants to do art projects in Brussels, friends who had grants to study certain cultural groups within a region of the country that they went to. So you can, for the most part, you can propose any kind of project, whether it's science, whether it's art, history, medicine, geography, dance, theater, as long, again, coming to the central theme of as long as it is a meaningful, essential, critical project that will benefit the global society, right? You want to keep in mind that these are taxpayer dollars that are funding your grants. This program is an investment by multiple governments across the world to foster this kind of international exchange to mutual understanding between people of different cultures, right? Number 3, and this is the one that I just love blowing people's minds about. You can use your Fulbright grants as a part of your educational training. What do I mean by that? Specifically, I'm looking at you, PhD students. You can apply for Fulbright grants while you're still in school. Caveat, you need to have a bachelor's degree conferred by the start of your grant date. So you can't do a Fulbright as a part of your undergraduate degree, your bachelor's degree, right? But you could do it as a part of your master's degree or as a part of your PhD. Other caveat is you cannot already have a PhD when you apply to the Fulbright, at least the student program. If you already have a PhD or a degree of a similar level, then you would be looking to apply to the Fulbright Scholar Program. That grant is really for established professionals in the field, right? That said, if you meet those requirements, you at least have a bachelor's, but you don't have a PhD, you can do a Fulbright as a PhD student. It can be a part of your dissertation work. On the flip side, you do not have to be in school to do a Fulbright. I am an example of that. I graduated, I got my master's degree, I had not started my PhD, I did not matriculate into the program. I was an independent entity, an independent researcher who went on to do a 1-year project on my own, of course supported by the resources and my affiliate mentor and institution. So you absolutely should consider integrating Fulbright into your PhD training. When you're in a PhD program, you're answering questions that no one knows the answers to. You're asking meaningful questions to, typically for the betterment of society. So, that falls right in line with what Fulbright is about. But you need to tie in that international piece, that global perspective, that integrating into the host cultures, because it's not just about doing research. Anyway, I'm not here to give advice about Fulbright. I'm just here to dispel myths about the program. Okay, this one is super important. This myth has just got to go. It's gotta go. It's gotta go. It's gotta go. This myth has got to go. You can apply for a Fulbright grant at any age, as long as you have a bachelor's degree or equivalent at the start of the grant. So in special circumstances, scenarios, if you don't have a bachelor's degree, but you have the equivalent to a bachelor's degree. So what does that mean? You have the same training and experiences, right? Informally, without the formal degree. So I don't know if that requires documentation or you have to write about it in your essay or contact your Fulbright program advisor or reach out to the contacts at Fulbright. But if it's evident that you have the same training and background that is equivalent to the bachelor's degree, you're eligible to apply. That's all I'm gonna say on that, okay? But that said, you can apply at any age. There were people in my cohort who were in their 30s, 40s, maybe even 50s. If you are 5 years old and you have a bachelor's degree and you have an amazing Fulbright project, apply. If you are 22 years old and you have a bachelor's degree and you have a dope Fulbright project, apply. There is no age limit, none. And that's honestly one of my favorite things about like their eligibility rules. They're very inclusive, right? Just kind of open to the fact that people are gonna have very different experiences from all walks of life. Just because I'm 50 years old doesn't mean I have all this experience, and just because I'm 20 years old doesn't mean I don't have a plethora of experience, right? So age is not a factor. You just gotta hit that bachelor's and we Gucci, you're in there. And then this isn't really a 0.5. This is not a question that I get a lot, but I'm gonna just throw it in there because, you know, just throw it in there. There are no GPA requirements for Fulbright. When I applied, I had to submit my undergraduate transcripts and my graduate transcripts. So as a master's student, I had a perfect 4.0 GPA. As an undergraduate student, I think my cumulative GPA was a 2.8. I think I put 2 to 3 sentences max in my statement to just kind of talk about that, right? Because it's an important piece. And when I interviewed for the grant, you know, my reviewers said they appreciated that there was a sentence in there about it. And then they asked me about it because in fact, they asked me about it from a positive light. They were like, you know, that's really impressive. Like you went from this kind of challenging experience as an undergrad to now being, you know, a master's student and becoming a semifinalist. Like, can you speak a little bit about your experiences with that? That said, right, all the advice that I've given, and if you haven't already checked out my original video about applying for Fulbright, peep that. Every cycle is different. You don't know what the reviewers want that year. You don't know what your host country is looking for. You could submit a grant that would be selected for a Fulbright this year and submit the same grant and not get it the next year, right? So at the end of the day, you know, my philosophy is what's meant for you is yours. And I just really wanted to make this video to encourage more people to apply. These common misconceptions, I think, can be major roadblocks, especially if you don't even think you're eligible for something. Like, why would you even look into it? But I mean, I, above all, strongly encourage those considering applying, because application cycle's open, to go to the Fulbright website and comb through every link, every resource, every contact, because all of this information that I'm sharing with you today is on the website. I'm happy to talk about it and share and answer questions, but it's on the website, right? And then another resource that I want to share is reach out to us, your Fulbright alumni ambassadors. So if you go to the Fulbright website, click the alumni page, somewhere on there, you'll find it. They have a list of all of the Fulbright alumni ambassadors, each cohort starting from 2008 when the program was initiated. We all have personal Fulbright emails as alumni ambassadors that we check routinely to answer any questions that you all may have. And I can say for certain that I didn't know about the Fulbright alumni ambassadors when I was preparing my application, but because there are cohorts since 2008 from, you know, people from all walks of life, if you're looking for someone who did a similar grant or shares an identity that you might share, or you have certain questions, like, it is absolutely worth going through those profiles and reaching out to us. And if we can't answer your questions, we will forward you to someone or a resource that can. So if nothing else you get from this video, I just want you all to know you can do your Fulbright in almost any field of study. You do not have to be a world-renowned expert or have years and years and years of experience to propose a project. You can do a Fulbright as a part of your PhD program or as a part of your educational training. age ain't nothing but a number. You can apply at any age as long as you have a bachelor's degree or a bachelor's equivalent. And then our bonus, maybe point number 5, there are no GPA requirements for Fulbright. So I hope this video helps. If you have any questions, just drop some comments below. I hope this helps. And if you're considering applying, just do it. You know, the worst they can say is no and you'll be exactly where you are. But what's meant for you is yours. So if you are applying this cycle, I wish you the best of luck, all the good fortune. If you applied last year and you won, congratulations. You know, and if you applied and you didn't win, you know, that's okay too. We can still celebrate that because there are other amazing opportunities for you to pursue, and you can still achieve your dreams and do what it is that you want to do through different avenues, right? Sometimes there are little roadblocks in the way or different paths that we have to take, but you know, just embrace the present moment, embrace the journey that you're on. I will talk to y'all next time. Bye.